I hear it quite often from individuals and parents. Why is housing so important? Mr. Little, if you would start there.
Housing is important, very important. Let's put it in a natural perspective. If you think about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, okay, you've got that, that little pyramid, and you've got these different rings on the pyramid. The bottom pyramid, that big part talks about your physiological things, those things like food, clothing, shelter. The next one moving up would be that sense of longing and belonging and love, and then you move on up to self-esteem. Well, here at Union Village, we cover those three basic rings of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We provide you a safe, accessible, and affordable place. And then the next one moves up is feeling that sense of longing and belonging. And I'm sorry, I mixed it up. It is, I forgot security's in there. So bottom is your food, clothing, shelter. Moving up is your security. And then it's that love and feeling of belonging. That's what Union Village covers. We provide a safe, accessible, and affordable place. You feel secure, just like you saw the security guards coming through and checking in on you, and staff being here. And then the next one is that sense of belonging, that community aspect. So when you think about that, we cover 3 out of the 5 ones of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And so for individuals who are deaf and blind, addressing those basic things there is very unique.
Yeah, and it's like you can't get to the finer things in life that you were talking about, love, being in that community, if you're constantly worrying about where you're going to lay your head that night. And so those building blocks, it's almost like Jenga. You're going to topple over if you don't have a solid base.
Oh, yeah.
And that starts with, having that security, having that place where you're going to be safe at night, that's going to be there long term for you. And that provides the opportunity for you to continue growing on that Maslow's hierarchy, and the end goal, feeling loved, being loved, having this community in this sense here. And you guys are providing that from the ground up, starting with the hardest part.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, why do you think housing is so scarce and hard to find? So we know housing is important. So why isn't it being taken on a big scale?
Well, I would say that just that accessibility piece so if you think about an individual going back, a lot of people with disabilities, I mean, you can look it up on Google. It's proven through research that individuals with disabilities are often underemployed, or either they have no employment at all, or they're in subpar working environments. And so when you don't have income to afford a nice home or a big apartment in the sky, then you're in a bad situation. So I think income has a big piece to deal with that. Here with our partnership with the home, we're able to provide employment opportunities for folks and great experiences. AIDB gives to employment. We even have employers work here. For example, just some of the collaboration. About a year ago, we partnered with E.H. Gentry's facility. They have a work experience program. We have a couple of their students come over here who get work experience working in our grounds crew, landscaping, painting, general maintenance, those aspects. They take those work skills and then they can go out and get them a job. Well, that job then transfers to money, which transfers to, okay, I can afford a really nice place to live. So in my opinion, I think just income really affects your ability. Things are going up. I mean, no need for us to, this morning, I got gas $3.49 a gallon.
Yeah, no, I'm feeling it a little bit.
So imagine if the gas prices are going up, rent, bread, milk, all these other things, a person with disability who has, i.e. a fixed income, well, then you have a smaller margin of money to work with.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, I think it really has to deal with income. And so by partnering with the home, we have affordable housing, and we're able to meet that need and just work with people where they are.
Yeah, and so that almost starts, it sounds like, really about 14, I think, maybe 16, when you can start to receive those employment services from organizations.
Yeah.
And so just like high school and college, you got to get your education and get a job so you can afford to rent a place or buy a place.
Yeah.
So I like how you loop that back in there. Like it's not like somebody's just going to come and be like, here's a house for free. You have to work for it, and you have to be ready for the opportunity to work. And that starts in your teenage years,
Yeah.
working on transitioning out of the school system, working on getting a job, those kinds of things. And that's what you want later in life. Start early. Starting early always helps.
That's one thing that I love about our partnership here at the home is that we have to have those conversations because AIDB's agency, we're an education and rehabilitation agency. So we're not just here to just do handouts. We're here to help people and train. Sometimes we have to sit down and have tough conversations with someone and say, well, hey, look, your program fees, you're falling behind. How can we help you? Because we want to hold them accountable. Because if you just don't hold people accountable, we don't learn. And so we've got to train. Now, there is a balance between, being too passive about it, but you also have compassion. And so that's part of our partnership is that, in those weekly meetings, we sit down and we'll say, well, who's struggling? Okay, well, so-and-so, they're struggling. So we'll sit down and we'll talk to them and counsel them through case management and say, okay, well, here's what you need to do. Anywhere else, you probably wouldn't get that type of support. Imagine if you were living in an apartment somewhere and you were struggling to pay your money. I'm sure your landlord would be like, okay, you got to get out of here.
Yeah, there's somebody
there's somebody else.
Yeah.
But our partnership, we're able to, that's that wraparound and support services. That's part of a supportive housing model is to sit down and say, okay, look, you're missing this mark. Here's what we're going to do to help you get back on track.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I would say, yes, we're the landlord, we're the owner, but I would say we're one with heart. We're faith-based, and so, part of our calling now is because these affordable rents are, again, helping us take care of children, but at the same time, we totally realize that from our perspective that this is ministry.
That's right.
Okay, and so so when someone's struggling, yes, there's got to be accountability in the learning and all that. So what we do is we work with our partner and you try to work through that instead of you're out. That's not how we're going to operate. And so it really works really beautifully.
Yeah, and I like the kind of the two ways there. There's the accountability, but it's also a growth opportunity.
Absolutely.
And out of that, confidence comes.
Right. Yeah.
So the accountability has to be there, like, hey, we got to work on this thing, but it's a growth opportunity for you, and this will help you later in life.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. I'm going to skip around a little bit here, but are there any upcoming events that you guys would like to shout out that people